My name is Bijal Shah. As you all know, today we are going to start with language differences. Most of the students face the problem with how to differentiate the language that usually we need to use, understand what type of language we need to use in writing, especially for essay. Our whole essay should be in complete formal language. In report writing, we need to, while writing a report, we need to be careful that our language should be completely formal one. When we are writing a letter in general training students, in that case, we need to write, depend upon to whom we are writing. Accordingly, we need to be careful with the language that to whom we are writing a letter. That in academic training, there will be report as a writing task 1, whereas in general training, there will be a letter writing as a writing task 1. Whereas writing task 2 is same for both academic and general training students, that is essay writing. Now, essay writing is throughout in formal language. So there are some specifications of formal and informal language. And today we are going to learn those differentiations and specifications. Okay. So formal organizations are formed to serve a specific purpose or meet to set the goals. So formal language will exist even if specific members leave the organizations, whereas informal one, it is something that you write to your relatives or friends to whom you know. So you can see the difference that formal and informal language serve different purposes. The tone, the choice of words, I mean, of course, vocabulary, and the way the words are put together vary between formal and informal languages. We need to be very careful in choosing the vocabulary for formal languages, and that's what we learned in today's session, so not to worry. Formal language is less personal than informal one. So it is used when writing for a professional or academic purpose. When we are writing to a colleague, when we are writing to the person who are in the above of our designation, in that case, we need to use complete formal language in our writing. University assignments, we need to write in totally formal language, right? So a formal language does not use colloquialism, contractions, or first person pronouns such as I or we. Here we are not supposed to use second person as well, that is you, in formal language. No doubt, no worries. We'll take in today's step by step, but these are the basics of basic difference of formal and informal language. Informal language is more casual and spontaneous, the way you use to communicate with your friends or colleagues, right? When we meet our relatives and how we communicate, that is completely kind of informal language. And it is used when communicating with friends or family, either in writing or in communicating, right? It is used when writing personal emails, text messages, and in some business correspondence as well. Even though we are doing business correspondence, in that case, we are writing those letters or communicating with the family or friends, then it will be informal again, because it matters to whom we are writing. All right. So the tone of informal language is more personal than formal one. See, for example, when you are writing to your friend, even though you have a business correspondence and then you are writing to your friend in formal language, then that friend will also will get confused that who is going to write, is this a friend or someone else, right? वो बंदा भी I mean असमंजस में हो जाएगा कि यार सामने वाला जो लिख रहा है वो कौन सा बंदा है, is this my friend who is writing in this completely formal language? Formal language are used to whom you don't know personally and you have professional relations only, right? So be careful in choosing the words, and there are some rules and techniques as well to differentiate between formal and informal language. So these are the basic difference of formal and informal languages. In formal language, we use the use of more active voice shows our writing in as a formal language, whereas when we are using more passive voice, that will be informal language, right? In fact, in formal language, we should write in passive voice more than the active voice, whereas in informal language, we usually use active voice. So in our, for example, in our essay writing, frequent use of active voice rather than passive voice, that shows we are writing our essay as an informal language, right? We'll take an example of active and passive voice. These are the just tips to write as a formal essay. Then second is avoid contracted words. And whereas in informal language, we can use contracted words. Now, students, we can differentiate these languages even though in our speaking part. While we are having a communication, I mean, in speaking, there are three parts. You all know now very clearly that first part is introduction part, where you have a communication to the examiner, right? So in that case, because you know that examiner and that examiner is sitting in front of you, so in speaking, you need to speak in semi-formal language, not in totally formal one, right? So it is a good idea to use contracted words in speaking. Clear? See, यहाँ पे मैंने जो formal and informal language का bifurcations दिया है, that is, you can use formal language. Our essay should be completely in formal language, and our speaking part should be as a neutral language. I mean, the language between formal and informal is called neutral language. In another word, we can say semi-formal language. So, while speaking, part 1, which is introduction part 2, that is cue card, and part 3, that is follow-up questions. All three parts of speaking can go as a neutral language, which is semi-formal. So in speaking, to use of contracted words is definitely a good idea because we are using semi-formal language. Now, again, coming back to the essay writing, where we need to write in totally formal language. So third point is avoid phrasal verbs. I'll let you know in today's sessions only what are called phrasal verbs. We are not supposed to use phrasal verbs in our essay writing. And simultaneously, we are not using colloquial words as well. So avoid colloquial words and expressions as a formal language. Avoid run-on words. It's better to avoid exclamations as well. Avoid personal pronoun, as I just mentioned you in earlier slide, that personal pronouns are I, me, my. We need to avoid those personal pronouns where it is not asked. जहां पे पूछा गया है, There you can definitely, you need to add a personal pronoun. For example, in essay of agree disagreement essay, and sometimes they ask you, then give your own opinion, right? So in that case, definitely you need to write your personal pronoun, that according to my opinion, I completely believe that, I agree. So of course, in that case, definitely you need to use your personal pronoun. But apart from that, where it is not asked, you are not supposed to use the personal pronoun. And yes, the last point is we cannot use that you, your kind of languages throughout. Or rather, we can use in the reference to the reader, he, she, or it, and or else you can just directly use the noun. All right, clear? So these are the major difference of formal and informal language. So examiner can easily make out by checking these points, that is your letter or essay or report are formal or informal. And of course, in your speaking, are you communicating in informal, semi-formal, or formal one? Because too much using of phrasal verb, colloquial words, or contracted words makes your language informal in speaking. So again, that is not a good idea. We need to speak in a neutral language in speaking one. In writing, we need to write as a formal language. In letter, only it differs depending upon to whom we are writing. All right, clear? So now let's have a look of these points in details. All right. Active voice and passive voice. That in active voice, a sentence emphasizes on subject performing an action. The subject comes first as an active voice, that by whom that action is done. That matters first as an active voice. Whereas in passive voice, that action or the object is important rather than subject. So that comes first. We'll take an example for this one later on. This is the first point, that we need to use, try to use maximum passive voice in your formal essay writing or a formal letter. Then next is contracted words. Contracted words are known as contractions, are short words made by putting two words together. Letters are emitted in the contraction and replaced by an apostrophe. The apostrophe shows where the letters would be if the words were written in full. So it is something that we are writing in short, and in between some letters we are replacing with the apostrophe. So this shows, this type of contracted words shows that we are using neutral or semi-formal or informal language throughout, because it is not allowed at all to write in formal letter with this contracted words. Be very careful, students. We usually normally write short forms, because nowadays in this technological world we use WhatsApp and SMS and such kind of things with our friends, and so we are used to in writing with contracted words, phrasal verbs. So it is very important, we need to do conscious effort to avoid this kind of words in our essay writing. All right. Let's have a look with the contraction words. I plus M makes I am. right? So I, and then A is removed and replaced with the apostrophe. And so it becomes I'm. He is, his. She is, she's. See, these are contracted words we often use in our WhatsApp language or else in our SMS and when we are communicating with our friends. But be very careful. We need to do cautious efforts to convert those contracted words in a full words throughout in our essay to make it complete formal language. All right. You can see, have a look of all contracted words I have mentioned over here. There are many others as well. So be careful in your writing not to use such kind of words when you are writing in complete formal language. All right. Let's have a look with the example that the improvements can't be introduced due to funding restrictions. Over here, because I have used can't, it becomes informal language. So we need to convert it into a complete formal one by writing all letters of that contracted words, and it becomes improvements cannot be introduced due to funding restrictions, right? Okay. Another example is, I don't believe that the results are accurate. Of course, the formal one will be, the results are not believed to be accurate. See, now over here I have used point 1 as well. The point 1 was avoid using active voice, right? In this sentence, you can see that in informal one, I is used first, which is subject, right? Who is not believing? The I don't believe, right? The results are accurate, that is something altogether different subject. But I don't believe, in that case, I is subject and believe and the further phrase is your object. And so it has become active voice. Now I converted that sentence into complete formal one by avoiding contracted words and using passive voice. So I have merged 2 points altogether, active passive voice and avoid of contracted words. And so the sentence has become, the results are not believed to be accurate. Now, because personal pronoun is not necessary, I have removed it. Or else you can write at the end of the sentence over here, you can write that the results are not believed to be accurate by me. That becomes exact translation of this sentence into passive voice. But personal pronoun is not required. And so it is absolutely okay to remove that personal pronoun by not writing by me. So I have converted this sentence into passive voice, and simultaneously to make it more formal, I have used are not rather than using contracted words. All right, you can see the combination of everything to make this sentence formal one. Right? Clear? So any sentence you can convert it into passive voice. Simultaneously be careful with the use of personal pronoun where it is required, then only we need to write, otherwise no need to add personal pronoun. And apart from that, be careful with the selection of our words which comes as a formal language, right? Next word, next sentence is, the research project won't continue next year. This is again a contracted words of will not. The research project will not continue next year. All right, these are the examples of contracted words with the combination of active and passive voice and personal pronouns as well. All right, let's have a look with this next point, that avoid using phrasal verb in formal language. Now, what are phrasal verbs? A phrasal verb is a verb that is made up of a main verb together with an adverb or a preposition, or sometimes both. Typically, their meaning is not always from the meaning of the individual words themselves. What does it mean? That combination of two words makes a phrasal verb altogether, but that each word meaning are totally different to the combination of both words together. For example, she has always looked down on me. So over here, looked down is phrasal verb. Now, meaning of looked is totally different. Meaning of down is again a difference. And looked down altogether makes a different meaning. And that is called a phrasal verb that comes in neutral or informal language. So we are not supposed to use such kind of phrasal verbs in formal essay. Let's have a look with the list of informal phrasal verbs. You can see over here that dress up, blow up, bring up, catch up, check in, figure out, hang on, point out, give up, find out, sort out. I have taken few examples only, and I want you to write the meaning of these phrasal words in the chat box. You can write this word, phrasal word, and then just write down the meaning of that particular phrasal verb in the chat box. That what does it mean by the dress up? Dress has a different meaning, up has a different meaning. But when you use these both words all together with a preposition, it makes a different meaning. So what does that mean by dress up? Please write it down in the chat box with this word, this phrasal word, and the meaning of that particular word. That what is mean by dress up or a blow up, catch up. I have used very common phrasal words, so it must be easy for you to sort out it very clearly. Yes, meaning of dress up is wearing a dress, all right? Then blow up. Blow up is explode, bring up. Okay, then catch up. What is mean by catch up? Meet, yes, yes, Ishan. Then check in. Yes, somewhat related to entering, yes. Figure out. Hang on. What is mean by hang on? All right, then point out. So what I mean to say, students, that try to understand this kind of phrasal verbs and avoid using such words in your essay writing. Rather than right now you are writing the answers in the chat box. So majority of the words, you know the meaning of these phrasal verbs because I can see those answers in chat box as well, right? So while you are writing essay specific, try to avoid such kind of phrasal verbs and try to understand the meaning of those words and use those regular words rather than phrasal verbs. Okay, now let's have a look with the exact meaning of dress up. Dress up is wear nicely. Then blow up is, of course, yes, explode. Bring up. Bring up is something related to break up and a relationship, right? Catch up. Catch up is meeting, yes. Check in is arrival. Then figure out. Figure out is understand. Definitely, we sometimes we make out that no worries, I'll figure out the sum, right? Then hang on, wait, I'm coming, right? Then point out, indicate using the specific first finger. Then give up is stop trying. Find out is related to discover. And sort out. Sort out is organizing something. Yes, very true. So these are the simple list of phrasal verbs. Try to avoid this kind of words in your essay writing and use the exact meaning of the word as a formal language. All right, let's have a look with the example. Over here, the balloon was blown up for the experiment. Now, what can be the replacement of blown up? And rewrite the sentence and answer me on the chat box as a formal language. This is informal one. Replace this word blown up because it is phrasal word. And now rewrite the sentence by removing this phrasal verb and which word can be replaced in the place of blown up. And write it down this sentence in the chat box. The balloon was tear apart for the experiment. The balloon exploded during the experiment. All right, Bhumi, yes, balloon was exploded for the experiment. All right, so now have a look with the answer. That balloon was inflated for the experiment. Why inflated? Because we need to get understand with the meaning. Over here, the balloon is not blasted. It is just blown up for the experiment. So over here, we need to convert it in the inflated rather than exploded, right? The balloon was inflated for the experiment. All right. Another example. The patient got over his illness. How we can write as a formal language? Please give me the answer. Recovered. Okay, the patient recovered. The patient recovered from his illness. Very nice, right? Third one. The results of the study were mixed up. What can be replaced? The results of the study were mixed up. All right. Okay, the results was matched with the result. No. All right. Match is again informal one. Here is the answer. The results of the study were confused. right? Rather than mixed up. Messy, messy is again informal language. Messy is, you can say, colloquial word. And over here, rather than using mixed up, we are using confused. All right. Now, next turn to the colloquial words. Colloquialism is the use of informal words or phrases or even slang in a piece of writing. Colloquial expressions tend to sneak in as writers being part of a society where are influenced by the way people speak in that society. So natural words we use while communicating with our close relatives or friends, which are commonly used. In other words, you can say a WhatsApp language, right? So in a good way, you can say colloquial words as similar to WhatsApp language. And when we are using abusive language, those words are used called as a slang words. So we are not supposed to use slang words, abusive words, and simultaneously colloquial words as well. So what type of words comes as a colloquial words? Let's have a look. That just now I mentioned that mess is again informal one. Apart from that, wanna, gonna, buzz off, soccer, rubbish, buck. What is mean by buck? Any idea? What is mean by buck? Dollars, yes. Money, yes, very nice. What is mean by chill? We say just chill. So these are informal languages. Screw up. So we are not supposed to use such kind of colloquial words, even though in our speaking part. Mark my words, students, these colloquial words are not allowed anywhere. These words are totally considered as an informal language. While in speaking, we need to speak as a semi-formal or a neutral language. So we are not supposed to this kind of words at all anywhere in our IELTS. Clear? Mark it very clearly. We are not supposed to use such kind of colloquial words, slang words, abusive words anywhere in our writing part or in our speaking part as well. In speaking, we need to speak as a semi-formal language where these are totally informal one. So meaning of these words are want to, going to, buzz off is go away. Rather than soccer, we can use football. We should use garbage than the rubbish. Buck, as I said, dollar. Chill is relax, and screw up when you have made some mistakes. So rather than using such kind of colloquial words, always use a proper formal word which gives the meaning of same colloquial words. All right. So be it very clear not to use this kind of colloquial words at all in our writing as well as in speaking too. For example, the mob was very rowdy during the protest against cuts to university funding. Over here, mob is also called a colloquial word. You must have a query that mob is, how mob can be a colloquial word. Mob is not the slang word, mob is not an abusive word, but this is not formal word. So what can be the formal word which can be replaced this mob? What can be the word which can replace this word mob? Bad guys. Okay. Thief. Okay. Not really, because the exact meaning of mob is not negative. Mob is just a public, just a crowd, just a people, just crowded over there, and they are making some that non-society activities, non-social activities, right? So ultimately, it is a crowd only. You cannot control the mob. It is just said that you don't have any evidence that those are bad guys or those are thieves. It is just simply come as a crowd only. And so the exact word for the mob is crowd. The crowd was very rowdy during the protest against the cuts to university funding. All right. Another example, lecturers still count on students to use correct grammar and punctuation in essays. The answer to this can be the lecturers expect students to use correct grammar and punctuation in essays. So even count on is called phrasal verb as well as it is called colloquial word as well. So be careful with the language, all right? Next example is, it was raining cats and dogs. What can be the exact word for cats and dogs? It's very simple. It was raining heavily, yes. All right, so be careful with the use of words, that it was raining very heavily. All right. Okay, next, switch to the next topic, that run-on sentences. Run-on sentences, or sometimes you can say run-on words as well. A run-on sentence occurs when two or more independent clauses are connected improperly. One common type of run-on sentence is a wrong use of comma. A comma place occurs when two independent clauses are joined with just a comma. See, what does that mean? That connection of two independent sentences wrongly is called run-on sentence, where we don't know where to put comma, where to put exclamation, where to put semicolon, and where to put which type of conjunction, and join two independent clauses. That makes our sentence run-on sentence, which are not proper. Example of run-on sentences are, the first is, we went to the park and we ate dinner and we got ice cream and when it got dark, we chased fireflies. Technically, you can say this word, this sentence cannot be wrong, but improper use of conjunctions makes our sentence wrong and run-on words. So we need to convert it and use the proper conjunctions for that. We went to the park, full stop. So proper use of punctuation, proper use of full stop and comma, and apart from that, we need to use conjunctions in a proper way to make a sentence grammatically correct. So it will become like, we went to the park, full stop, then comma, we ate dinner and got ice cream, full stop again. When it got dark, comma, we chased fireflies. Got it? You can see the difference between these two languages. In first one, you can say that we usually use such kind of sentences and language in our WhatsApp language. Another word I can say. But in writing essay, it must be a proper punctuated, proper use of conjunctions to make a formal sentence. All right. The next can be, it was wonderful weather on Monday. The boys flew the kite outside. Something is missing in this sentence. We need to make it formal by using proper conjunctions. We need to connect two independent clauses in a proper way to make a clear formal word sentence. It was wonderful weather on Monday, comma, so the boys flew the kite outside. All right, clear? So be careful with this type of mistakes as well while writing our essay, very specific. Then next is exclamation marks. Majority of the students are facing problem of where to use exclamation mark. So there are it express your expressions, excitements. They are also used to express surprise, astonishments, or any other such strong emotions. Now it is very confusing sometimes where to use exclamation marks. So this is an exaggeration, of course, and that's how it makes our sentence or a language somewhat neutral to informal one. So to make our language formal, try to avoid exclamation marks as well. All right. Be very careful with exclamation marks as well. And then after, avoid using personal pronouns like I, me, my, mine when it is not asked. Why I have added when it is not asked? Because in such type of essays, they ask you for your own opinion sometimes. So in that case, when it is asked that give your own opinion with the examples, maybe that to what extent do you agree? So in that such type of essays, definitely you need to write personal pronoun to give your opinion or suggestions or your own stand. But if it is not asked, not to write personal pronoun at all in your writing task too. I am talking about essay over here because in letter writing, you may need to write such kind of personal pronoun or second person pronoun as well, because to whom you are writing, it depends upon the language, and then only the use of personal pronoun and use of you, yours comes as a semi-formal or neutral language where we can use those type of language in our letter. So to be very specific, in writing essay, we are not supposed to use such kind of words in our essay writing. And yes, you, your, yours are definitely we need to avoid, because it shows some type of rudeness to opposite person who is reading. So in formal language, we are not supposed to use such kind of words like you, your, yours. Rather than, the best way to avoid such type of pronouns, convert your active voice sentence into passive voice. I have taken the example earlier as well that I don't believe, that was the example, right? And I converted that example into passive voice, that it is believed. So in that case, you can definitely easily avoid such kind of pronouns, right? Let's have a look with the example. I considered various research methods for the study. Now over here, I have used personal pronoun I. Now, what can be done to remove this personal pronoun? The best way is convert this sentence into passive voice. Now, can you please write the passive voice sentence formation of this sentence in the chat box? convert this sentence into passive voice so you can avoid personal pronoun. This is one way to avoid I, me, my, such kind of personal pronouns. The various research methods for the study can be considered. Yes. Now, does it require to add by me at the end? What is the opinion? Does it require to add by me at the end? No. Yes. Very nice answer. Absolutely. Because again, when you are using by me at the end, we are using personal pronoun, which is not required over here, right? So in this case, our answer will be the various research methods were considered for the study, where we are avoiding personal pronoun throughout by not even writing by me. Yes, exact conversation of this sentence into passive voice, then definitely by me will come as a grammar. But we are making informal sentence to a formal one. And so we are avoiding personal pronouns, right? The second one. Next is, we believe the practice is unsustainable. Write this sentence into formal one. How we can write this sentence as a formal language by avoiding first personal pronoun. All right. Yes, we can use third person, but we need to be very careful where we are using it, because ultimately we cannot become gender bias if rather than, of course, we can use over here because it is plural, we can use directly they. So it is absolutely okay in this case, but when it is a singular one, we need to be very careful that we cannot write he or she directly, because it makes gender bias. All right, I got lot many answers. Now let's get the direct formal sentence that it is believed the practice is unsustainable. Why I have added a third person? Because to make this sentence throughout in passive voice, and I wanted to avoid personal pronoun. So I have made my, I added third person that it is believed. Over here, you can add, when you want to translate the exact sentence into passive voice, in that case, we can convert it as if that it is believed by us. The practice is unsustainable. But over here, we do not need to write by whom. And so we are just, because it is not important, right? Subject is not that important over here, and so we have made it by writing it is believed. All right, clear? So today's session we have taken a basic difference of different type of basic difference of formal and informal language, what we need to use and what we need to avoid in writing in a formal language, and where we need to write formal one, where we need to use semi-formal or neutral, and where we can write informal one. That's what we have discussed in today's session. That is it. Another example over here, you can see that during the interview, I asked students about their experiences. Tell me how we can avoid personal pronoun in this sentence. In this sentence, how we can avoid personal pronoun? Okay. All right. It's good. During the interview, students were asked about their experiences. It's as easy as that. So, in our essay writing, be careful to have a different variety of sentence formation, to have a complete grammar range. You all know that what type of four markings are there in writing part. So in that, one of the marking is grammatical range and grammatical accuracy. So to have a grammar range, we should use variety of sentence formations, and simultaneously lexical resources is also important to make our essay throughout formal one. So use of formal words is very important to improve our word bank in our essay writing. All right, clear? So this is it for today's session. Let me know if anyone is having any kind of doubts regarding different type of languages. Formal language, informal language, and somewhat neutral language also we have taken today. The basic difference of formal and informal, we discussed that what type of points we need to be careful in writing our essay in formal language. All right. I think everyone is very much clear with the language. So we'll end the session now. All right. I hope you everyone are very much clear with the different basic difference of languages, and be careful in your writing task 1, writing task 2, and in your speaking as well. All right. All right. Let's end the session today. Good night, everyone.